From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV. From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV. From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV. From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV. From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV. From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV.
Joining us on the news at noon. My name is Grace Nwafo. The Senate on Wednesday launched a sweeping probe into the rise of Ponzi schemes in the country following the collapse of crypto bridge exchange CBEX, a digital investment platform that allegedly fleeced Nigerians of over 1.3 trillion naira. The Ponzi scheme has been described as one of the largest financial scams in the nation's history. The senators attributed the rise of Ponzi-style investment schemes on regulatory failures and weak financial oversight, warning that the ripple effect, including rising suicide rates and growing public mistrust, now threatens Nigeria's social and economic stability. The motion, jointly sponsored by Senator Tokunbo Abiru and Osita Ezunaso, received unanimous support on the Senate floor, with lawmakers across party lines condemning the systemic failures that allowed such platforms to flourish unchecked. On his part, Senator Abdul Ningi urged the National Assembly to activate its constitutional powers under Section 88 and 14 of the 1999 Constitution to compel accountability from regulatory agencies. The Senate resolved to launch a multi-committee probe into its committees on capital market, banking, insurance, and other financial institutions, anti-corruption and financial crimes, and ICT and cybersecurity. The lead committee is expected to conduct public investigative hearings and submit its report within 4 weeks. The upper chamber noted that the investigation will go beyond CBEX, casting a wide net across Nigeria's digital financial space to identify systemic lapses and propose sweeping legal and regulatory reforms. The International Monetary Fund has pledged support for the Federal Inland Revenue Service on the ongoing reforms at the FIRS, while commending the agency for what it described as significant progress in its core duties. This pledge was given by senior economists at the Fiscal Affairs Department of the Global Board on Wednesday at the opening of the Revenue House in Abuja. The mission of the IMF team to Nigeria was to explore areas the organization could further support the agency in addressing the challenges that might arise, particularly with the recently signed tax laws. In a statement from the Special Advisor on Media to FIRS Chairman Dare Adekombi, Paz said the IMF providing to the citizens under its chairman, Zach Adedeji. PAS said the new tax laws will have a new impact on Nigeria. Represented by his chief of staff, Tayo Kolosho, Adedeji lauded IMF's contribution with In a remark, Mrs. Bolaji Akintola explained that the IMF had been a critical stakeholder in FIR's journey towards tax system reforms targeted at improving domestic revenue mobilization. Two systemic evaluation exercises using the Tax Administration Diagnostic Assessment Tool between 2018 and 2023. The African Democratic Congress has accused the All Progressive Congress-led administration of plotting to suppress legitimate opposition under the guise of national security, following democracy, but is solely focused on rescuing Nigeria from what the party's interim national publicity secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, expressed concern over the APC's growing hostility towards ISIS, questioning the ruling party's apparent discomfort with opposition politics. His remarks followed a post on X by President Tinubu's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, who alleged that certain political figures were banding together to overthrow an administration that has been the most focused, most transformative in our history. The ADC, in its response, dismissed Ononuga's post as irresponsible and defamatory, warning that such rhetoric could be used as a pretext for a wider clampdown on opposition leaders and voices critical of the government. The coalition reiterated its commitment to saving the nation from the irredeemable incompetence of the current administration. The party further appealed to the international community, including democratic government, human rights organizations, and election observers, to monitor closely the political climate in Nigeria. The federal government has expressed concern over the recent decision by the United States to impose tighter visa restrictions on Nigerians, describing the move as disproportionate, calling for reconsideration in the spirit of mutual respect and cooperation. This comes just as the United Arab Emirates imposed tougher entry conditions for Nigerian travelers, banning transit visa applications entirely. According to new directives from Dubai Immigration, Nigerians aged 18 to 45 will no longer be eligible for tourist visas unless accompanied, while those aged 45 and above must provide a 6-month personal bank statement showing at least $10,000 monthly balance before they are granted visa. On Wednesday, the British High Commission in Abuja also announced a change to the United Kingdom's immigration process for Nigerians applying for study and work visas. The announcement by the U.S. Department of State in Abuja on Tuesday that effective July 8, 2025, most non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visas issued to Nigerians will now be valid for only 3 months and limited to a single entry sparked the FG's reaction. The U.S. government had announced a revision to its visa reciprocity schedule for Nigeria, limiting the validity of certain non-immigrant visas, including the B1B2, that's business and tourism, and other categories to just 3 months and restricting them to single entry. The spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimebi Ebienfa, confirmed to the newsmen that the government was closely examining the new directive and its potential implications. In a statement issued on Wednesday by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, signed by Ebienfa, the FD said it viewed the new policy with concern and keen interest, particularly in light of the historically cordial relationship between the two nations. This is still the at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. More reports from the foreign scene as well as sports will come your way after this break. Stay with us. Glad to know that you're still there. If you're just joining us, this is the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. Over now to the foreign scene. U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday hosted President of Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal at the White House in Washington, D.C. The meeting focused on business opportunities as the African leaders sought partnership to develop their resources. According to reports, during the lunch at the state's dining room, Trump said the leaders hail from vibrant places with very valuable land, great minerals, great oil deposits, and wonderful people. He also hinted that the 5 countries were unlikely to face U.S. tariffs. Speaking, Gabon's President Brice Oligui Nguema told Trump his country was open to investment and wanted to see its raw minerals resources processed locally, which would require more investment. Senegal's President Faye suggested his country also offered investment opportunities for tourism, including a golf course. Faye said the course would only be a 6-hour flight from New York and suggested Trump could visit to show off his skills. The U.S. president is expected to soon announce dates for a broader summit with African leaders, possibly in September around the time of the United Nations General Assembly. This week's mini-summit marks the latest effort by successive administrations to counter perceptions that the U.S. had neglected a continent where China has increasingly made economic inroads. The U.S. International Development Finance Corporation said the meeting would provide project development funding for the Banyo potash mine in Gabon, helping Gabon reduce its dependence on import. Also, President Donald Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship will be back in court Thursday for its first major hearing since the Supreme Court limited the way in which lower courts can hold the controversial policy. The proceeding before a federal judge in Concord, New Hampshire, is a key early test of how the federal judiciary will now scrutinize challenges to Trump's Day 1 executive order, which had been halted by judges around the country through nationwide injunctions before it could take effect earlier this year. Late last month, the Supreme Court, without weighing in on the legality of Trump's policy, curbed the power of lower court judges to issue nationwide injunctions while keeping intact the ability of plaintiffs to seek a widespread block of the order through class action lawsuits. Immigration rights attorney will press U.S. District Judge Joseph LaPlante, who previously ruled against Trump's policy, for a new court order in their class action lawsuits that would broadly block it from impacting born or unborn babies. Should the judge side with the challengers, his ruling could prove to be a critical bulwark against Trump's policy as other courts scramble to take a second look at their decision in light of the Supreme Court ruling. And from the world of sports, Lionel Messi scored twice in the first half of Inter Miami's 2-1 victory over the New England Revolution on Wednesday, continuing a run of form unprecedented in Major League Soccer. The 38-year-old Argentine star has scored 2 goals in each of his last 4 MLS games to become the first MLS player to score multiple goals in 4 straight games. He launched the streak in late May with 2 goals in a 4-2 win over Montreal, followed by 2 in a 5-1 victory over Columbus. Miami then paused an MLS campaign to compete in the Club World Cup, where Messi scored 1 goal in 4 matches, and Miami were eliminated in the round of 16 by PSG. In all, Messi has 14 goals in 15 MLS games, putting him 2 behind leading scorer Sam, who has appeared in 6 more games from Nashville than Messi has played this season. And that's a wrap on the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. My name is Grace Nwafor. Do stay tuned for the rest of the broadcast.